in person and joining us online. My name is Rabbi Karen Strock, and I feel like here at Beit Tshuva, I am coming home. So it is a pleasure to be with you once again to bring in this Shabbat. We say not only at this time of year Shabbat Shalom, but we say Moadim L'Simcha. There's these days in between the beginning and end of Passover where we say, at the beginning and end, we say Chag Sameach, and these in-between days we say Moadim L'Simcha, which means having a joyous festival. May you have a festival full of joy. I wanted to start this evening by just sharing a little bit about the time that we're in. This is the Shabbat of Passover, where we are celebrating Passover. And during this holiday, we are leaving Egypt and traveling and making our way to the Promised Land. The word in Hebrew for Egypt is Mitzrayim. And Mitzrayim means narrow places. And we're moving. The holiday is about moving from narrow places through to expansive ones. We have had quite a week in the United States of America on college campuses where anti-Semitism is showing up in new ways. I have two children who are on two different college campuses, and what's that noise? Okay. And although they are feeling okay and safe right now, one of them I think is joining online from Portland, thousands of Jewish students throughout the country do not feel safe. This is, to say the least, a narrow place to be. Jews in America and throughout the world are inextricably linked now more than ever to our people here, to our people in Israel, and those who are held hostage in Gaza, who are also indeed in narrow spaces. I pray that this Passover story will help us take the long view of history and to hold hope about what might be in store for these students and for the Jewish people in America and in Israel and throughout the world. Let's imagine together the expansive spaces, and let's create that expansive space together here tonight. We continue our service by acknowledging that it is really good to be together. Hine Matov.
It's good to be standing free, brothers and sisters, as we walk across the sea. It's good to be standing strong and free together, one big family. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam, Yachad Gam Yachad, Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Lai la lai lai la lai, lai la lai lai la lai, lai la lai lai la la lai la lai. Lai la lai lai la lai, lai la lai lai la lai, lai la lai 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 la lai. It's good to be standing free, brothers and sisters, as we walked across the sea. It's good to be standing strong and free together. מה טוב ומה נעים שברקים גם יחד מה טוב ומה נעים שברקים גם יחד.
It is good to be together tonight. And at this time, I'd like to call upon our birthdays to lead the candle lightings. We have 3 birthdays tonight, Kevin and Key and Cody. Are they all here? 2 here? And Kevin? And Cody? These birthdays that we have are the light, and they will bring the light with them to us. Congratulations.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The song Shalom Aleichem is based on a Talmudic story, and it goes like this. You may know it. Maybe the first time you're hearing it. There's a good angel and a bad angel, and they follow a person home from synagogue on Shabbat Eve. If the home is prepared for Shabbat, the good angel has to say to the bad angel, "So may it be next Shabbat." And the bad angel has to answer against his will, "Amen." If the home is not prepared for Shabbat, the reverse happens. The bad angel has to say to the good angel, "So may it be next Shabbat." And against their will, the good angel responds, "Amen." To me, there's an important message in this story about momentum that maybe we can relate to. Newton's law says that objects in motion stay in motion, and objects at rest stay at rest. It's hard to break that cycle, that momentum, but it is possible. It takes a lot of effort to go from one state to the other, and when we do, the results can be tremendous. We are all here tonight, both in person and online. We are in community. We are all bearing witness to the celebrations and to the missteps of those around us. We are here together in prayer and in community. So may it be next Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem.
Lie, 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 la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, 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 la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi, Ashereh, Malachi. Kadosh Baruch Hu Bohem LeShalom Malachi HaShalom Malachi Elyon Melech Mimelech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lai 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 Ai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai 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 La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai Shalom Shalom Malachi Elyon Melech mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zeichem LeShalom Malachi HaShalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lai 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 La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai 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 La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai 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 Ai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai 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 La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai La 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 Lai La Lai 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 Lai.
Some context for what I'm about to teach, and forgive me if this is review for some of you. The word Ashkenazic refers to Jewish people with origins in northeastern or Eastern Europe. And the word Sephardic refers to Jewish people whose lineage goes back to Spain before the expulsion from Jews in Spain in 1492. So there's a Sephardic tradition, the one that goes back to Spain, to read Song of Songs, or Shir HaShirim, on every single Shabbat. But in all traditions, no matter where we come from in the world, we read Song of Songs during Passover. So what is this Shir HaShirim, or Song of Songs? It's a love poem that doesn't mention God. However, the rabbis see it as an allegory for our loving relationship between the Jewish people and God. I'm sharing this now before we pray words of Yedid Nefesh, because this prayer also offers us images of God as a love partner. It expresses a profound desire to feel connected with a divine presence. In this prayer, we ask for God's healing and God's mercy and God's protection, and that God shelter us under a canopy of peace. So may it be tonight that we feel the embrace and the protection of the Holy One of blessing, Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Mishur Chavdecha, Eretz Onecha, Mishur Chavdecha, Lai 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 Lai, Eretz Onecha. Yarot Avdecha Kemo Ayal Yishtachave Ay Lai 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 El Mol Hadarecha Yarot Avdecha Lai 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 El Mol Hadarecha. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh ורחמן משוך עבדך ארץ עונך משוך עבדך לי 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 ארץ עונך.
Tonight, I will share a few teachings from the Musar tradition. I know the residents have been exposed to Musar in their tshuva groups, but for those who don't know, Musar is like Jewish spiritual ethics. It's about being the best version of ourselves. The idea is to learn how to bring more holiness, more light into the world. The Musar understanding of generosity is that there are different ways to give. We can give our time, we can give a smile, we can share wisdom, or we can give financial support. Everyone, according to our Jewish tradition, is obligated to give. Every single person, no matter what we make. There are rules about minimums and maximums to give. But the idea is that no person should be deprived the privilege of giving. So even if you are someone who's living on very, very tight means, we too are expected and given the opportunity to help. It's an invitation to share a bit of what you have with others. This cycle of generosity only works when there are people who are here to give and when there are people who learn to receive well. So this is the way that the generosity cycle works. Sometimes we're on the giving end and sometimes we're on the receiving end. But if we never allow people to help us, then the cycle breaks. So with that, I invite everybody to remember the great work that we do here. We help real people on their real journeys toward recovery, and we support folks on their continued path toward living an authentic life. So please give what you can. So at this point, our tzedakah goes towards residents who are all on their journey of repair, of tshuva. So at this point, I'd like to call up Heath, who's going to give a little drash, a few words on tshuva.
Oh, yes.
You can stand up. Okay.
I got it. Yeah. My name is Heath, and I'm a grateful member of this community. How's it going? Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Canner. I'm up here to speak about what Teshuvah means to me and returning. You know, as you know, this place is called Beit Teshuvah, and that means the house of return. To return means a lot of things to me. The returning of my innocence from my youth, returning to my neighborhood, returning back to Beit Teshuvah, returning to a somewhat sane state of mind, you know, and it's hard for me. I grew up with a lot of trauma, a lot of neglect. I was adopted, and I think even from the get-go when I was born, I just felt abandoned. So when I look back at trying to return my innocence and return all my hope, it's very hard because I have a lot of self-hatred, a lot of my self-worth is not there. And it led me to some very dark places. It's led me to rebelling against school where I could have applied myself and I didn't because people kept telling me, do better, you can do better, all the way to, smoking meth and talking to myself. These people that you see walking on the street, that was me. When my mom died on September 17th, 2017, I lost all hope. I lost any type of inkling of self-worth. I didn't care about myself anymore, and I totally let myself go. I tried to get sober. I tried to get sober for probation and probation only. To myself, I was telling myself, I'll just get sober, get myself right, and go use. And when I relapsed, and that was my first time that I was sitting down in an alley with, like a tweaker does, and has all of his stuff around him, and I was just like, you know what, this is my life. This is what I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. And that was when I accepted I was a drug addict. Because before I was like, nah, I'm not a drug addict, I just party too hard, Walking around on the streets talking to myself, I just party too hard, which is insane. I get very impulsive when I'm on meth, and when I'm coming down, that is like, or I get my impulsivity of anger comes when I'm coming down off of meth, and I am a very odd drug addict. I like to feel that impulsivity of anger, and so I purposely would walk around with half an ounce on me and not do it and like calm down. I don't know why, but I get myself into trouble. And so I got myself into trouble. I had a previous strike for a robbery, and they just, like, the judge was tired of seeing me. They were like, dude, like, you're going to prison this time. So when I was in prison, of course, I was mapping my way out and how I can use and not get into jail. For a whole year when I was in there, I wasn't using. And then a situation happened, and I used, and that's when it hit me like, this is my life. Not on the streets, not walking around, not enjoying my so-called freedom, but this is gonna be my life. I have what they call life on installment plans, going in and out, in and out. This is my vacation, that's my home. So I decided to get clean. I decided to participate in groups. I decided to write to Beit Teshuvah. So the long journey came here. I come here, and I'm still like, I was sitting here, and I've been here before. I know the whole get down, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm here. I want to leave. But something in me was like, no, stay here, And when I came back, I saw familiar faces from when I was here the last time, and that was like that was the first step of my journey to Teshuvah, to returning, is the smiling faces, the people I didn't know, they were welcoming. And even as much as I loathe myself for being here again, or loathe myself because I don't know how to conduct myself when I'm using drugs and I go to jail and prison, there was something in me that stayed. And that's like starting my journey. All my previous sobrieties, I didn't want it. I was good at faking it for sure. I'm good at manipulating situations to get what I want, even if that's to sacrifice and listening to certain rules I don't want to do. But my end game is really what I want to do. This time, I actually am manipulating the situation into a positive aspect. I'm manipulating these rules for myself, saying, hey, what this person is saying is actually true. I'm in therapy, and I'm talking about my self-hatred, and they're talking about let your confidence and let that innocent child that you were and that innocent soul come back. So my journey to returning to myself is just working on steps, being rigorously honest with myself, being rigorously honest with the staff members, with my fellow friends and residents. But most of all, it's about being honest with myself, because being honest with myself, it opens up the doors to an unimaginable possibilities. now recovered hope. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard sometimes. You know, it's hard, but I'm not giving up. Helping others, seeing when other people are down, I try to lift them up. And without so much as trying to tell somebody what to do, I try to relate my experience to their situation, and it helps me because I hear what's coming out of my mouth, and then I listen to my own advice. And so returning to me means maybe not returning to my old self, but my soul that was tarnished, that was being hidden by all my drug usage and and my low self-esteem and all that. It's it's coming back, and all I can say for myself is that I got to keep doing things I don't want to do, keep wanting this recovery. You know, I'm not, as I said, I'm not perfect. You know, I want to leave sometimes. I hate this place sometimes. You know, I lash out on my counselor, and you know what? When I'm doing that, I'm releasing these resentments, and then I see how foolish I was acting, and how, but also not to downplay my feelings, because my feelings matter, and that is another part of healing and returning my soul. Because if I just keep pushing those under the rug, I'm going to have resentments then poison me into having the, excuse my language, but the fuckets, and I get the fuckets hard. Like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to hear anybody. You know, I'm out of here, you know? And so, you know, I just got to thank this place. I got to thank my whole treatment team, the spiritual, the staff, the PFs, you know, especially the PFs, you know, and I do want to say that also returning back to myself personally is making people laugh, joking around, knowing that you could take life serious, but you can joke at the same time, because life is about laughter, and that is, I think, my true soul. My true soul likes to make people happy and laugh and joke around and show that, hey, you know, I might be going through something, maybe being sober sucks, you know, but in the end, it's just it's a glorious time of laughter, jokes, and returning to myself, you know, as I once was, but also transforming into who I am going to be. So I thank you again. Thank you all. Have a good Shabbat.
Thank you, Heath, for that beautiful and inspiring message. At this time, if there's anybody who would like to do a public tshuva or has words of gratitude, please come up to the bima now. I don't think I've been here a lot of times. This is never.
our disease, that's when we can really recover, when we're actually transparent and we are willing to change. So I hope that all you new residents that are willing to really make a difference can use that darkness that you've gone through, whether it was talking to yourself on the streets and taking it to those limits, or whatever it might be, whatever your bottom has been, to actually see the light and really bring joy to others and be yourself. So thank you so much.
My name is Travis. I'm a grateful member of this community. I was sitting there thinking, like, this has never happened, and it made me think of if I don't have something to be grateful for, that I'm in trouble, and I have so much to be grateful for today, especially this program and the people, every single resident here and staff. Hope is something for me that is very scary because of my past and just constantly failing, but I'm really, truly grateful, and I've been reflecting on a lot of this place and how it's given me that opportunity to start to have hope again in my life. Because like I said, for me, it's very dangerous because of my past, and it's very scary to have hope. But, this place, God has allowed me a safe space to, lean into Him more and begin to have hope, and it's just a really beautiful thing. So I just want to share that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Charles. I'm a grateful member of this community. I wanted to come up tonight and make teshuva to the community here and a little bit to myself. I was here for a couple weeks. About 3 weeks ago, I left, and I was just not okay. I was manic and psychotic, and I feel like leaving, I abandoned the community and I abandoned myself. I'm starting to do a little bit better. I'm at a mental health IOP, and I'm starting to do better, but I just want to express how grateful I am for this place. Thank you.
There's a Musar teaching, as I was talking about Musar, about gratitude, and the word for gratitude is hakarat hatov, which is about lifting our eyes and seeing what is good that's in front of us. Sometimes when things are hard, we can forget to lift our eyes. We can forget to notice. But this concept of hakarat hatov is a spiritual invitation to look up and notice all of the things for which we can be grateful. While we're speaking of gratitude, we continue with a prayer for gratitude, Mizmor Shir, how grateful and how joyful we are to be together on this Shabbat, Mizmor Shir.
Shabbat, tov leodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir le'om haShabbat, tov leodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. בבוקר עבדך באמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי להגיד בבוקר עבדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי יעזור ועלי נעבר עלי היגיון וחינוך וזמר לשמך עליון וזמר לשמך עליון.
All right, we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna do Lachado D next. We're gonna do two upbeat songs.
Let's
in a
do
row.
it.
Why not? Let's keep it going. Here we go.
You want me to say something?
Oh, would you?
I don't need to. I don't need to, but we will invite the Shabbat bride as we welcome in the presence of Shabbat into our lives with Lachadodi. Go for it.
Amen.
Let's do it.
לחדודי קרקלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד תשמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת והליתי לה לחדודי קרקלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכוון אלך כי מקור ברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה כי תוררי כי באורך מי אורי שדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לחדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. Everyone rise and face the doorway as we welcome in the Shabbos bride. Boi veshalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola toch emunei am segula boi chala לחדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
All right. We've welcomed in the Shabbos bride. That's right. So I want to welcome up IVB, David D, Julia M, and Victoria S. Please come up to the bima. And I'd also like to invite the birthdays for this evening, Key, Kevin, and Cody. Please come up to the bima to help. we're going to welcome the three of you in, like all of us up here right now have been welcomed into this house. So, oh yes. Three, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there should be four, but there's three. So, there's always next week. Always next week. We're going to say a prayer together, and we're going to welcome you in officially to your new home and your new community. First off, introduce yourself to your new home. Here we go. Yeah, first name's good. Okay. All right, community, this is David. Hi, David. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. May you who have come be blessed in the name of the source of life. Well done. Thank you. What? Melech, Beor, Beshem, Adonai. Let us walk together in the light of the divine one. All right, community, this is Ivy. Ivy! Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. May you who have come be blessed in the name of the source of life.
Nelech, Behor, Beshem, Adonai.
Let us walk together in the light of the divine one. Welcome. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, this is
Victoria.
Victoria. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. May you who have come be blessed in the name of the source of life.
Melech. Beor. Beshem. Adonai.
Let us walk together in the light of the divine one. Welcome. So this is my favorite part of the service because I see the three of your eyes, the six eyes between the three of you. I see the emotion. I see the willingness. I see the gratitude. I see a relief. Ability to turn over a new leaf and get a new lease on your life by the work that you put in and the influence of this beautiful community. And we're going to do it together. And sometimes it's hard. And sometimes we may want to run out the door. Sometimes we may want to go back to the way that we were living in the past. Or making similar decisions just because that's what we know. The three of them have walked this path, and there's many others who will assist you on this journey. And when times are tough, there's only one thing that you can do and have to do at those times, and that one thing is hold on! You just have to hold on because it'll pass. The way we feel inside, the chaos that swirls around us, it won't always be constant. Things are constantly changing. We're very grateful that you've made this commitment to yourself. We're very grateful that you've joined our community, and we look forward to seeing the process unfold. All right. Thank you for being here.
Since my mom is here tonight, my mom is right here, I wanted to share something special before the Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. When we pray for healing, Jewish tradition teaches that we name the person in relationship to their mother. In a traditional Jewish setting, the only time a person is named in relationship to our mother is when we're sick. Why is this so? Why, when we need healing, do we hearken back to this primary relationship? For some of us, thinking about The relationship with our mom conjures up warm and fuzzy feelings. And for others, thinking about this relationship can be much more complicated. Despite how we may feel about our own mothers, what we all have in common is that when we emerged from a womb, we didn't care if we had a single mom or 2 dads. We were totally vulnerable little beings, yearning to feel nurtured and safe and connected. Using our egalitarian sensibilities, we see the callback to the mother's name during Mi Sheberach as a symbol, a way to acknowledge that when we are in need of healing, we seek comfort and love and care. At this very moment, when we feel physically or emotionally or spiritually vulnerable, or maybe all of them, this is when we seek connection the most. When we remember that we are not alone in this world, we are tethered. So tonight, as we move into this Mi Sheberach prayer, I invite us to think about the ways in which we might personally need healing from our broken parts. Something physical might hurt, or in some ways, maybe we have a broken heart or a wounded soul. We are all in need of some kind of healing, or we know someone who is in need of healing. As well, I have promised my friends in Israel that every time I teach or lead a service, I will help us lift up in prayer the more than 130 hostages who are still in Israel and those who have returned and are integrating into their lives. All the families in Israel and throughout the world who are in need of spiritual and physical healing, we lift up at this time. If there's somebody in your lives, in your hearts, that you have permission to name aloud and are called to name aloud, I invite you at this moment, we will collectively say those names. Joshua Strauch. We are all connected to each other and to the Holy One of Blessing. May we each feel a sense of wholeness as we move through the windy path toward healing, and may we feel the loving embrace of this sacred community as we say the Mi Sheberach prayer together.
Rifayenu Adonai v'nerafeh, Ushienu v'nivashea, El karov lechol korav, ach karov lireav yishu. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. Emna refana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shelema. Emna refana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shelema. Heal us now.
Before we continue with Baruch Hu and Shema, I wanted to explore something tonight, the relationship between seeing and hearing. In Proverbs 20, chapter 20, verse 12, we read that God made ears that hear and eyes that see. The Shema is a prayer about listening, about hearing, but within it there's also a notion of seeing, of bearing witness. If you look in the Torah, and often in prayer books, you'll see the word witness, or ed, ayin daled, within the Shema. It's the last letter of the first word and the first, it's the last letter of the first word and the last letter of the last word of Shema. And to me, bearing witness is about truly seeing one another. But the Shema is also about hearing. So what's this relationship between seeing and hearing? It's interesting that when the Jewish people stood at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, in Exodus chapter 20, verse 15, we learn that the Israelites saw the sound of thunder. They saw the sounds of thunder. Rabbi Akiva said they saw what was audible and heard what was visible. Rav Kook says they were able to see sounds and hear sights. God's revelation at Sinai was registered by all the senses simultaneously as a single, undivided perception. Tonight, as we say the Shema, I invite each of us to experience that blending of our senses, to have that ability to hear and to see and to deeply know that there is unity, there is connection, there is oneness in our universe. God is one, and we are one. In Jewish prayer spaces around the world, before saying Shema, we have our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. This prayer requires a minimum of 10 people who gather together, who bear witness to one another in one space to pray. So now we will say Baruch Hu, followed by the Shema, and then we'll continue with Mi Chamocha at this very time in our year. We are here, we are together, we are connected, and we are ready to pray. Please rise for Baruch Hu.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. May be seated. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך ושרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Embedded in our Shabbat service is a prayer called Mi Chamocha, where we retell the story of our exodus from Egypt. We do this every single week, not just during Passover. I want to share words now from poet and liturgist Trisha Arlen. The poem is called, Why Do We Tell This Story? Why do we tell this story? To remember how we got to Sinai and Torah, so that we can recognize righteous struggle and have patience for the long hauls. Why do we tell this story? To remember this narrative that creates a people, so we can cherish our myth and hope repetition somehow makes it true. Why do we tell this story? To remember when we were underdogs and heroes, so that we can study the times when we are not and do the right thing when we should. Mi Chamocha.
Followed Moses to the sea. When we got to the other side, we left and screamed and danced and cried. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neda b'kodesh. Nor tequila rosé. We didn't know if we live or die. We kicked up the sand and we took a stand. We didn't know a thing about the promised land. No, we didn't know a thing about the promised land. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neda b'kodesh. Nor tequila rosé verde. Confusion set in with the setting sun. Some missed the Pharaoh and thought we were done. Where poems are written like songs of the sea, by people like you and people like me, by people like you and people like me. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neda b'kodesh. Nor tequila rosé verde. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neda b'kodesh. Nor tequila rosé verde. Nor tequila rosé.
1966, when my parents were married, it was considered an intermarriage because my mother's family came from Poland, so she was Ashkenazic, while my father's family was from Turkey, so he was Sephardic. They came from very different worlds, culturally and religiously, but one thing they had in common was their level of preparation for Passover. Some of my earliest childhood memories include the Passover season, where it felt like tinfoil had exploded all over our kitchen counters and refrigerator shelves and pantry. For those who don't know about this tinfoil ritual, it's a way to make the house kosher for Passover, where nothing that had touched leavened bread would touch anything that was brought in for Passover. And if you walked in my house right now, you'd see tinfoil all over. But before our separate set of Passover dishes came into our kitchen, I remember the deep cleaning of every nook and cranny. For many people throughout the world, springtime is punctuated by this type of deep cleaning. I recently Googled the words spring cleaning articles, and here's what I found. Better Homes and Gardens was among several who wrote a version of Spring Cleaning Checklist, the ultimate guide to spring cleaning. CNN had an article titled, The Potential Mind-Altering, Life-Extending Benefits of Spring Cleaning. Vogue wrote, The Mental Health Benefits of Spring Cleaning. A few weeks ago, I read a New York Times article about spring cleaning that had an important spiritual message. The article was titled, Starting Small. In it, Melissa Kirch acknowledges the over-ambitious and intimidating nature of this task. She says, if full-on spring cleaning feels intimidating, why not focus instead on tasks that are far less ambitious, but no less satisfying? She breaks down tasks into tiny things like sewing a button on a shirt or sharpening knives or getting a car wash. This is actually a very Jewish idea, that if we break tasks down into parts a little bit and do a little bit every day, we can reach great spiritual heights. Let's take something small, like how do we understand the concept of God? Some people find theology so overwhelming that they might find it easier to identify as agnostic or atheist. But Rabbeinu Bachya, who lived in 14th century Spain, offers this advice. He said, we therefore find when it comes to comprehending God, a person must first train one's mind a little at a time. And in that way, one's comprehension will continue to expand, like the light of dawn, which starts to shine a little and then expands. So rather than aiming for a complete spiritual enlightenment, he suggests breaking things down. Perhaps he'd advise that we start our day in gratitude, being thankful for another opportunity to make this world just a little bit better. Or maybe we could find a little way that God might be showing up in our lives right now. Baby steps, one thing at a time, until one day, perhaps something we thought was a coincidence, we suddenly see as God's way of showing up in our lives. American Orthodox rabbi and legal Jewish authority of the 20th century, Rav Moshe Feinstein, agrees. He teaches we are supposed to elevate ourselves in stages. We aim for great heights, but we should take it one step at a time. Therefore, in our pursuit of spirituality and thinking about God, we do it with this lengthy process to remind us to take small steps and not one big leap. This consistent message about taking small steps reminds me of my Musar learning and the character trait called zerizut, which is defined as enthusiasm or alacrity. This spiritual practice of this character trait invites us to maintain a level of stamina throughout a task or a project. If we apply this idea to our spring cleaning, which helped us prepare for Passover, it was not only about starting that project with enthusiasm, but it was about taking small steps to move toward completing the task. The spiritual invitation takes it a step further and encourages us to keep a positive attitude throughout. The Jewish practice of zerizut embodies the wisdom of inertia, that objects in motion stay in motion. Remember, I taught that about Shalom Aleichem. So there seems to be some consistency in this message, whether we're talking about the mundane task of spring cleaning or the grand spiritual aspiration of feeling closer to God. From the mundane to the holy, we are encouraged to break down our goals and to do things one step at a time. And isn't that what we're all doing here at Beit Tshuva? What we all have in common is a desire to keep reaching, keep striving to be our best selves. And if we do this one day, 1 hour, one breath at a time, that's how we do it. If we get overwhelmed, we're reminded to stay in this present moment and make the choice right now to be sober or to stay sober or to love someone who is on their recovery journey, hour by hour, day by day, breath by breath. It's natural in life to get overwhelmed sometimes, but when we do, I hope we'll remember these words of Rabbi Brower, who is the chief executive of Hillel at Tufts University. He teaches, and I'll leave you with these words: one can be too ambitious when setting out a plan to change. Rather than focusing on changing all of one's negative behaviors at once, it is wiser to focus on 1 or 2 areas that require attention. The consistent repetition of this process, along with disciplined follow-up in the ensuing weeks and months, will bear cumulative fruit. Shabbat Shalom. And our amazing cantor, who I love working with, Cantor Nate, he always asks me, what are you talking about, so we could find a song? Found a song called Keep It Simple. It's a fun song.
Cars, 3 kids, 6 phones. A whole lot of confusion up in my home. 500 stations on the TV screen. 500 versions of the same old thing. Y'all know it's crazy, and it's driving me insane. Well, I don't wanna be a Superman. I just wanna go somewhere and use my hands and keep it simple. Oh, real simple, y'all. You know, I called my doctor on the telephone. The lines were open, but there was nobody home. Press 1, press 2, press pound, press 3. Why can't somebody just pick up the phone and talk to me? Y'all know it's crazy, and it's driving me insane. I don't wanna be your Superman. I just wanna go somewhere and use my hands and keep it simple. I'll keep it real simple, yo. I was at the local coffee store. The menu went from the ceiling all the way to the floor. Decaf, cappuccino, or latte, said the cashier. I said, give me a small cup of coffee and let me get the hell up out of here. Y'all know it's crazy, and it's driving me insane. Well, I don't wanna be no Superman. I just wanna go somewhere and use my hands and keep it simple. Keep it real simple, yo. Well, now, I don't wanna be a Superman. I just wanna go somewhere and use my hands and keep it simple.
So Cantor Nate said his favorite part was the welcoming of new residents, and I see this as a bookend moment where we invite up birthdays, and this is just one of my favorite moments because the residents who are here and are active on their recovery journey, and all of us here get to bear witness to just a beautiful celebration. So it is my favorite part when I get to call up the birthdays and offer them a personal blessing. So first, I'd like to call up Key, who is taking 1 year. 1 year birthday.
Hi, my name is Key. I'm an alcoholic. I'm dual diagnosed, and I'm a very grateful member of this community. This community welcomed me when I started volunteer without even knowing me, just because I came, just because I wanted to be of service. When I got sober this time, when I got clean this time, I had wrecked my car 2 days before in an unrelated incident. And I went to go look in my pantry in my house, and then I thought to myself, what the fuck am I doing? I realized for just a brief moment the road that would have led down. And I really stubbornly tried to do it by myself for 37 days. And then I looked at my life and I got all of the support that I could, and I went to program and I went to outpatient. And the truth is, I need every single part of my recovery in order to keep going. I need to be engaging in my own things in order to be able to give back. And if I don't give back, if I don't work with my sponsees and come here and stop and do acts of kindness and tikkun olam when they present themselves to me, then I don't keep what I have. I honestly, this is a trip. I didn't think a year ago that I would be standing here, let alone that I would be standing here. You know, and being here, as some of you have heard me say, has been a really huge part in my mending my relationship with my own Judaism that had been so complicated and full of a lot of hurt from my past, and communities that were less affirming, or people who were less affirming, or places where, you know, no matter how many times I said it, people would call me by a name that wasn't mine anymore. And it doesn't matter whether they had malice in their hearts or not. You know, intent isn't, we can hurt other people without intent, and goodness knows I have done that so many times. Thank you. And that I will be trying the rest of my life to make up for those times. And the way that I can do that is by continuing, as Cantor Nate said, to hold on. And I am so proud of each of the residents of this house, and I'm so grateful and so lucky to get to come here and work with them and just be here. Thank you. I love you all.
Key, on behalf of the Beit Tshuva family, I want to offer you this necklace, and it has the word hod, or splendor, on it. When you spoke about taking every opportunity that you can to make this world better and to do acts of tikkun olam, that is your splendor. That is your magnificence, which is another word for hod. And I hope that when you see this, it is a reminder to you of all of that magnificence that you have inside of you, and that you have inspired each of us with, and this is for you from us. Congratulations. Also celebrating 1 year is Cody.
Let's see, thank you. Cody, grateful member of this community and alumni. Yeah, I realized when I was up here, welcoming everyone in, I was that fourth person that wasn't up here. Yeah. I was still very sick in my room. I had done a 6-day detox, and Zach Jones, before he left on Friday, came up to me and said, "Are you gonna make it?" And I was like, "Gatorade, and I'll figure it out." But yeah, it was rough this time. You know, I started at 13, got in trouble at 15. Thankful that Mom didn't send me to Wilderness. She just sent me to AA for the first time. So that was 16 years ago that this kind of started. And I'm 31 now, and I'm only taking a year. And it's because, like, I always got away with things, you know? Like, for example, I live in Switzerland now, and I took my girlfriend's German passport, not mine, and I still got out of the country and I flew to the US. Like, if that's not the epitome that I get out of, like, fucking everything, I don't know what is. I don't know how I'm gonna get back in, but I'll figure it out. We'll be okay somehow. And somehow I convinced Lisa to let me back in. Russell, Lisa, Jess, Oleg, Annie, they were around when I was here in 2016, and I was a 23-year-old asshole. I guess we could keep it very short and simple. Affirmative. Affirmative nods. I thought you were agreeing. I was like, you didn't know me. I guess I still am an asshole. That's not good. We just really met for the first time. No, but yeah, I was arrogant. I didn't care about anything. I didn't want to live. And I did this just because I felt like I had to. It obviously didn't work, you know, and it started as most things do. Started drinking again, and then other things come into play. And then, yeah, I've lived in Israel since 2018. And I just picked up the phone and I called Lisa, and thank you so much. It means the world, seriously. This woman is a godsend. Every day that you see her in the lunch line, say hi, you know? Thank you. She sees what's going on and she's busy, but you really hold this place together. You hold it down. 10 days in, I meet Elior. Still whining, complaining. And he's just like, okay, man, I hear you. Called him multiple times a week, took one of the iPads from the PF office, read the book, went, did the work, got into it very quickly. And I have someone that I went through the house with in 2016, and you'll probably hear him, and so I don't want to take his line, but he said, I came in here and I did it to prove everyone that you were wrong. And he's going to be, hopefully, God willing, 8 years sober now. Or maybe he took his cake, I'm not sure. But that's the thing, figure out any motivation. You know, the you matter thing is hard because like I felt like I never mattered for a lot of my life in sporadic points. But I matter to Elior, my sponsor. I'm so grateful and thankful because I matter to my mother, my aunt. My aunt brings a friend that's known me since I was younger, like everything. Like I matter to someone else, and it's love. And what's the opposite of love? Anger, pain, hatred. So like the people in your life that you feel hate you or things like that, or feel that have wronged you, it's usually because they love you so much and they need to protect themselves. When I did my fifth step, sitting at a park and little kids came and started playing baseball as I'm doing my resentments towards my three best friends that I grew up playing baseball with. Elior turns over to me, he goes, yeah, you see those kids? They had the innocence, all that, and then a homeless man comes up and starts fucking up the way that they're playing and hitting a baseball like just around the park. And he goes, you're that homeless guy. Like you were taking their innocence. 100% true, 100% true. And I'm sorry to contradict what you said, but for me, I had to change everything. Like I have a lot of good things, you know. I've heard a lot of my life that I'm wasted potential. And so I rebelled, right? And so the you matter or do anything that Beit Shuva says, I just rebelled. And so I think the biggest rebellion at the end of the day is doing the exact opposite of what I was doing, right? So it's waking up in the morning. I don't want to get out of bed ever. I'm happier just to stay high in bed and do nothing until I can go out and party or do something. I go to the gym. I eat healthy. I go do things for others. My mom, it was so small, but you thanked me. You wanted to give me a kiss because I opened the door for you multiple times today in the car. Like, it's the least I could do. You gave me everything, and I'm so grateful. You know, my aunt, like, I can't. I don't know how far to go. You know, my aunt, my mom's sister, and, like, she takes me like a son, you know, and is there for me. I'm getting the wrap up. But yeah, look, living in Israel, and some of you have seen the videos of the hostage that was recently released. Good friends from college with his uncle, and so I text him like, how you and your family doing? You know, you see the shape that he's in. He's missing a hand and not doing well. He's been gone for 200 days, and they go that we finally have hope. Like, they could turn their perspective of like, oh, we've lost a child, we've lost a nephew. It's a lost cause. They've been miserable. His mom's been out and about, but like, they changed their perspective and hope. And it's such a small thing. Like, it's just change perspective. Like, I know that it's a hard thing to do, but try and do the exact opposite. Don't close the door on thing. Like, God and spirituality, it's talked about all the time and here, but just leave it open. Like, that prove it wrong, you know? And the wrong is like searching to find that there isn't a God, because then what happens if you find something? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm super blessed, and I'll finish on this. I'm super blessed in life. Live in Switzerland now. People know me as someone that's sober. They've never met someone else. I have a girlfriend I live with, only knows me as sober. You know, she knows that I'm in the program, so she's expecting something to go bad. But she's like, when is this gonna end? I'm like, no, this is just who I am now. But I'm not gonna stop trying, right? Like, life is hard. I get to go on business trips for the company I founded in Israel, and then go back to Israel, you know, poor and jobless. But like, I have faith. So just figure out how to have faith in something. Faith in yourself is hard. Find faith in something, anything. Thank you.
Cody, your word that was chosen for you is keter, which is crown. And your journey that started so long ago, really half of your life ago, that brought you here, earned you this crown. And I see your kippah, and that's a symbol of this crown, of this majesty, of there being something greater than yourself in the world. So when you see this and hold this, let it remind you of the next 15 years of your journey, and that you've earned this crown from this community. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
For inspiring us.
Thank you.
Also taking 1 year, we're going to wish happy birthday to Kevin.
Hi everybody, my name's Kevin. I'm an addict, alcoholic, grateful member of this community. Hello. So a year ago on April 19th, I was dying. I was literally dying. I was in San Diego, and I remember my body was falling apart. I had bloated legs. I had abscesses everywhere. You know, I was pulling my hair out with pliers, my beard, my head. I was about 120 pounds. I had just gotten out of the hospital for a gunshot wound to the stomach, and I was bedridden for about 3 months, so I could barely walk. I still had the colostomy bags, carrying it around, and mentally, I wasn't doing well either, you know. I hadn't slept for about 3 or 4 days, so, and I was on meth, fentanyl, and PCP, and that's a deadly cocktail right there. It made me very paranoid. So I would lay in bushes, think helicopters and cops were after me. I thought my customers were after me. I thought my dealers were after me. I thought the police was after me. I thought everybody was after me, you know. So, and I was carrying around a gun, which is not good when you're in that state of mind, obviously. And somehow, by the grace of God, I ended up getting arrested, and at the time, I was not happy, you know. I was not happy at all. You know, so I'm in the back of the cop car, and and there was like coyotes howling, and I thought like it was people laughing at me from like the distance, and you know, it was bad, you know. Anyways, so I get taken to jail, right? And I'm like, all right, well, let me just, you know, call my mom and get bailed out, you know. I call my mom because I know she's the only one that would answer, you know, because everybody knows, you know, that's the only one who answers. And she answered, but thankfully she said no, you know, and of course I took out all my frustrations on her. I was very mean, you know. She didn't deserve that at all, you know, and even though I acted that way, she kept on answering. Every time I would call, she kept on answering. And about 2 months in, 1.5 months into jail, for some reason something changed. I called my mom again, you know, as you were saying, Mom, I've changed, blah, 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 get me out, you know, like the usual routine. And she said no again, and I snapped. Same thing, and anyway, she started crying, and I hung up, which was routine. But for some reason, I sat down and I was like, I don't know what it was. I swear that when they say you have a godly moment, it was that, and I was like, I'm never doing that to this woman ever again, And after that, I just ended up going to prison, and it taught me a lot of shit. It taught me everything. I'd been to rehab a bunch of times, but what I was missing was the patience that I needed, the discipline, just all that stuff, and especially the gratefulness. I was missing all that stuff, and I didn't know why. I tried to rehab for 30 times. I just wouldn't get it, And it's like God just put me in a school, It was exactly what I need, and it taught me all that stuff, just to be grateful for even the littlest things, And after that, I was supposed to go to another rehab, again, by the grace of God. That didn't work out. I ended up coming here, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. With my newfound, gratefulness and all that stuff, all that tools that I'd learned from prison, it made me be able to appreciate this place for what it is. This is the best place I've ever been to. The community, the people, the program, everything, the staff, everything. And I just want to thank everyone for all the support and everything that you guys have done. And for everyone that's new, you guys are in the right place, man. This is the place to get sober. I wish good luck to everybody, and I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it.
The word that was chosen for you is gavura, strength. And when you talked about where you were at that moment and what your recovery physically even, what that took, the amount of strength that took, this seems like the right word. And I want to say one more thing, and that is for you to notice and be able to say thank you about a limit that was set for you, about a boundary that was set for you. That is strength. To see that and to notice that. And so on any hard days, I hope that you see this as a symbol that you can do anything because you've done this and you have inspired this entire community. So accept this on behalf of the Beit Tshuva community, and please receive our heartfelt congratulations. Okay. We need to call up Cody and Key to receive our birthday cakes. So come on over here.
All right, anyone who wants to give them a cake, please come on up. Let's celebrate. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Key, Cody, and Kevin. Happy birthday to you. Keep coming back sober.
Mazel tov to everyone, to our birthdays, one-year birthdays. I'll invite you all to get back to your seat. These are the lucky ones. These are the ones who made it, who survived. Not everybody does. And we are going to transition to the Kaddish prayer, the prayer for memory. And I have a reading by Merritt Malloy called Epitaph. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live on in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. I'd like to invite up the family of Harold Rothstein to share a few words.
Good evening and Shabbat Shalom. You know, we thought maybe we were going to speak, but I don't think any of us prepared anything, so I'm just going to sort of speak from my heart. I am Felicia. This is my family. We are the family of Harold Rothstein. Yeah, 25 years ago next month, Harold walked into the Bet Shuva on Lake Street. And my dad at the time was on the board of Gateways Hospital, and he said, he always told this story, do your old uncle a favor and go talk to Harriet over at Lake Street. And Harold was resistant, but he's like, I'll try it out, outpatient. Well, that lasted a couple minutes, and next thing you know, he went through the program, made lifelong friends, and it changed his life. He worked here for many years and really stuck to the program. Next month, in May, he would have taken his 25th coin, and I think we have it. Okay, we have it. This has been incredibly hard. We may be cousins over here, but in the Zygmunt Rothstein family, we are like siblings, and it was sort of intentional that this was happening. And so even during COVID, Harold lived really close to us. This is my son Noah, my sister Elise. And he would call us and he'd say, hey, number one. That was all of our nicknames, was number one. We were all the favorite. Hey, number one, how are you? How's Noah? Can you run me an errand? And so we ran his errands and we sat with him outside, and he came over and he had beautiful traditions with his cousin Noah over here, who was his heart, along with his niece Anna and sister and brother who can't be here tonight. And you know, we knew he wasn't in the greatest health, but he kept going. And he was here for his friends, and he's pure love. About 2 weeks ago now, he ended up in the hospital, and we thought, okay, he'll go to the hospital, he'll come home, he'll start up dialysis, and he made probably the biggest decision of his life that we're not happy with, but to stop dialysis. And this was only about a week and a half ago. And he was really at peace with that decision. We weren't, and we're still not. And he said, my body has been giving out. There's been so much, and it has to have more quality of life to stay alive than the pain that I'm going through in my body. And through family, he said, yeah, no, I want to stay alive. He got to the point with his physical health where he said, no longer can I do that. So he made the decision to stop dialysis. We went to the hospital. But here's the best part. So he went to the hospital. He came home. And last Shabbat, my phone rang. And he was home, and it was Harold. And I picked up the phone, and he did his, hey, number one. And I'm like, what's going on there? It sounds like you're having a rager or a kegger not a kegger, bad joke. And so I'm like, what kind of rager is going on there? Remember, he's sort of been in isolation for years because of the pandemic and just circumstances. And he had a house full of alumni of Bet Shuva. And it literally was a Shabbat rager, if that's a thing. And then the next day, we went by, all of us, and there was another rager. and another one, and he had a ton of people around him constantly, and he was the happiest I've heard him in years and years. And he went very quickly, that by Monday he was gone, and I was there most of the day Monday, and thought he had a long time, because you know what, he was still drinking his coffee and smoking cigarettes and eating, but he went no pain. And he's so grateful for this community that we thought, where else are we going to spend Shabbat than here, and with the people he loved and the place he wanted to be. So this is the way that the Zygmunt Rothsteins are really going to remember Harold, and I'm trying to hold it together. I don't know if anyone else wants to speak. Noah, do you want to say something? This is his number one cousin. What did Harold say to you?
He said, my number one.
Yeah, they had a lot of special moments. Chuck, you want to say something?
I just wanted to thank everybody in the community for always being there for Harold, and for Harold for being there for all of you.
Thank you for all the Facebook messages we're getting too. It means the world to us. And again, thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
My mom also lost one of her dearest friends this week, so I'll add her name as well, Gail Naklis. We are in our first year of mourning for the following: Shayna Michelle Aiken, Jerry Glasser, Sarah Abergel, Dana Maltz, Ben Scher, Jay Gagerman, Ronald Mankoff, Sandra Lee Yanklowitz, Marcia Solomon, Gail Weiner, Elaine Gumpert, Quinn Yamron, Gabrielle Walensky, Marty Schiffer, Dina Hofkoch, Benjamin Paul, David Ruderman, Paul Marr, Howard Seligman, Greg Sutton, Lisa Beth Cooper, Stefan Reisman, William F. Besser, Aria Clark, Jake Schneider, Mitch Hodesh, David Hansen, Asher Barkin, Everett James, Rabbi Yossi Karen, Susie Gesundheit, Harvey Weiner, Josephine Plata Villarreal, Sarah Wilshinsky, Stuart Lautman, Peter Bergman, Danica Valencia, Constance Ross Landis, Edwin M. Greenberg, Patricia Page, Shari Cup, Mark Wiseman, Philip Arbett, and Barbara Ho. As well, we list the names of those whose yahrzeits fall, that it's the anniversary of their loss. Charles Marks, Claire Sanford, Dwight Keys, Gladys Glenn, Gloria Shapiro, Stu Lichterman, Marilyn Buckley, Lorraine Ross, Alex Aleo, Joanne Snyder, Jody Krasovsky, Zachary El-Khatib, Robert Gorsey, Lillian Rogel, Nancy Greenberg, Roslyn Fishman, Tad Backenheimer, William Bellsberg, William Forrester, Benjamin Anderson, Gary Mintz, Gil Bogus, and Irving Levitt. If I have mispronounced the name of somebody that you're here to say Kaddish for, or if there is someone who was not on this list who you would like to say Kaddish for, or somebody on this list, I invite you to rise and say their names. At Beit Tshuva, we never stand alone, so if someone around you is standing, please stand with them, and I will call on you to say their names aloud. I invite the community, if it is your custom, to rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Ole'almei Almaya. Yit Barach V'yish Tabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh. V'yit Hadar V'yit Aleh V'yit Halal Shemei Dekudasha Barichu. Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. May their memories be a blessing to you, to our community, and to the world.
Shabbat sponsors this evening. Happy birthday, we love you, from Vicki Morton. Thank you, Vicki. And then thank you for fighting every day. We love you, Cody. Your thankful and proud family. Thank you very much for sponsoring our service this evening. If you would ever like to sponsor Shabbat, Cameron can take any Shabbat sponsors or any donations, and the wonderful Sarah Jacobs would usually be doing that work, but she is off this evening. We have many different programs and happenings in our community. We have a choir here that meets Thursdays at 6 p.m. right here in the sanctuary, and our choir is led by the wonderful Laura Baggish. If you are interested, you can just show up on Thursday at 6, or you can speak with any of us, and we'll encourage you to come. All right, challah delivery. If you get your challah order in before Wednesday at 9, they will deliver it for you. And it is wonderful challah. And it's a wonderful program that involves the residents. They braid challah out here on Thursday night, and they play music, and they do it together, and it's a wonderful thing. So support them in their process, and it's great challah. So I think that's So we do have a thrift store as well. Morty over there, who comes to Shabbos all the time, and I'm very appreciative. He runs the thrift store, and it's a great program that we have as well. I don't know of any other rehab that has as many wonderful items and helps out and picks up things from people's houses and involves the residents. The residents go out and pick up the furniture, they lug it in the truck, and they set it up in the store. And then there's people working in the store as well. Just one of the many amazing things that we have going on here. I want to thank Rabbi Karen for being here again. I want to thank this awesome band that I get to play with. Jesse, Micah, Ted, and Laura, thank you all very much. I'm super grateful. Lydia's working sound with us. It's very awesome. And she's playing bass on Saturdays. We're going to have her play on a Friday one of these weeks, too. And then Nomi filled in tonight to help us out. He said yes. Jay's coming back to volunteer his time, and that's amazing. And then John is helping in our video production as well. And then Jason was in the studio helping out. And I want to thank all of you for coming and showing up and being a part of this community and supporting our residents in their journey to save their own life. So let's do one more song.
So before we do Oseh Shalom, a piece called Wild Peace, a peace without the big noise of beating swords into plowshares, without words, without the thud of the heavy rubber stamp. Let it be light, floating like lazy white foam. Let it come like wildflowers, suddenly, because the field must have it. Wild peace. Please join us in Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
A closing benediction from Directing the Heart by Rabbi Yael Levi. In preparation for their journey across the river to the land they had been promised, our ancestors were told, "See, every day you will have a choice. Every day you will choose what you notice and what you allow to guide your way. Every day you will decide how to respond to a multitude of encounters and how you will define each of your experiences. See, pay attention, notice your expectations. When do they propel you forward and when do they bind you? Insights will arrive to guide you and help you discern what is true. Every day, new terrain opens up before us, and we have to decide how to proceed. Nurture yourself with practice, the Torah calls. Be mindful of what you take into your body and notice where the thoughts and stories of the mind might lead. For every day, new terrain opens before us, and we choose how we will walk and what we will see. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Everyone rise as we do Kiddush and Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min